Well, hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about animating multiple objects. So last time we were here, we were kind of involved in getting the keyframes together for one object. We had our ace coat of arms. So we should have downloaded these items here. We've got these PNG, basically the basic components to the ace coat of arms just separated on different layers. And we're going to import all of these into Premiere, and we're going to animate them to kind of come together to form this sort of, shall we say, kind of, let me see if I can find kind of an example of what we're talking about here. Videos, row 2, say here, right here. It'll look like this at the very end. And it'll all kind of come together to form this this logo from the sides. This seems like a lot, and you can make things pretty complex if you really want to. But this is not as complex as it might appear on the surface, just because it's easy to coordinate these things and it's easy to kind of pull them all together. So let's first start off by going to Premiere and let's get our new project going, and we can call it multiple animating multiple objects. Press OK, and I'll override this. So let's just kind of go ahead and do the first thing we did, which was we made ourselves a little color matte. So once again, we find something that's kind of neutral, that won't really stand out too terribly bad. I'll get something that's more like pink now. So like I said before, kind of stick in the middle. Don't go too far past 60% saturation, and just bring that in. And I'll call this one multiple cells or animations last name, just so we don't have to rename it when we get done. Alright, drag that in, and let's drag in the rest of our stuff. So we'll just select all of these objects here, and just bring them on in. And we want to stack these up in our video tracks here. Notice we've got 2 video tracks, and we've got about 8 things. So we want to make sure that when we pull them in, you can just know it's fun to see, like you can pull these in, and what you'll see is that as you add, you'll be adding more. You'll be adding more tracks as you go in. So even though I don't have a 5th track, I can just lay this on top, and they'll slowly appear here. So just pull these in and scroll. Find the torch, this bird shape, the little ace logo right there. And scroll up a little bit. I can even pull this down some more. And there you go. One thing you want to know is that the eagle head at the very top needs to go below the shield. So leave yourself some room to put the eagle head below the shield. You can even, for instance, pull this up one, and you can add things on different layers. It's pretty simple to do. Okay, so the first thing you might notice is that the shield is cut off at the bottom, and we obviously don't want that. So let's click on the shield real quick. And let's go to Effect Controls, and let's click on the scale. Don't click the little stopwatch here. Just click on the scale and just, type in a number like, say, 90, and maybe even 95. Just something to keep the edge from going off. We're just going to right-click on this, and actually what we'll do is we'll just press Copy, and then we'll click on the eagle, and we'll just press Paste. Oops, no, we won't. We'll actually go over here to the, we'll right click on this and we'll press Paste Attributes, and just press OK, and that'll shrink everything down. So let's select the other items, and then we'll right click and just say Paste Attributes, and press OK, and then that'll shrink everything down, just fit everything in. Okay, so we'll just start from the bottom here with the eagle, and let's move our timeline marker to about 2 seconds in, and what we'll do is we'll add a keyframe under our position, kind of like we did before. To start off with, we'll just add this keyframe here, And we want everything to kind of come together at about 2 seconds in. So we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll right click on motion over here and we'll press copy, which we'll right click on position. We won't. Well, how about this? We'll just right click on here and we'll press copy, and then we'll just select everything else and press Control D. Right. And so, whoops. Okay. Undo what you just did, right click on everything else, right click, paste attributes, and press OK. And hopefully now we should see, yeah, good. So if you click on the other tracks, you'll see a keyframe at the same point for each one of these things. All right, so all we're going to do is just move to the beginning of the time frame of the timeline here, and we're going to just move everything off the screen. So if I click on Fit up here, let's change our zoom level to about 25%. And what we're just going to do is we're just going to go through each item and just move it off screen. And you can just kind of move them wherever you want. I'm going to have, you know, the scroll coming from the left and the torch from the right, the lamp coming from up, and then the ace, and this thing kind of coming up from the bottom. And basically they're just going to come in kind of from natural angles here just to kind of see how that works. So what I'll do is I'll just click on eagle, I'll click on motion, which brings up our little bounding box here, and I'll just drag it straight down. So I'll drag it down to the bounding box. It's totally out of the screen. So this is to get rid of my eagle head. I'll do the same thing with the shield. I'll click on the shield, I'll click on motion, and I'll just pull that straight down. And then I'll do the same thing to each one. So for the sword in the foreground, well, in this case it's in the background, so we, you know, but whichever way you're looking at it, I think the sword in the foreground is supposed to go this way. So let's click on motion, and then I'm just going to pull this, you know, down here just to kind of have it line up with its where it's pointing. Do the same thing for the sword BG. So I'll just click on motion, grab this, yank it this way, and all the way off the screen. Then I'll click on the lamp, and once again hit motion, and I'll just drag this upwards. I'll click on the scroll, and hit motion. I'll just drag this to the left. I'll hit bird, and I'll do the bird and the ace kind of opposite from the swords. I'll have them coming in from the top corners. You can once again kind of put them wherever you want to put them. I'll have this one going up this way. Then I'll have the ace little words here come up from the opposite corner, and I'll just have the torch come in from the right. Okay, so when we play this, we can just see this come together like so. All right, very cool. All right, so you watch that one more time. You can go through the keyframes one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right about here, they all kind of come together. And they're in. Now you notice that the sword on the right came in, or on the left came into the screen a little bit before the sword on the right. So if we wanted to like, coordinate this a bit better, we can actually kind of like look where they're coming from. So for instance, right about here, sword BG, you can kind of look at see its position. Right, it's there as opposed to sword FG, where it's actually here. So I can this back down to where it's all the way off. So that way, because of the same speed. The distance and the time obviously affect the speed here, so that's good. They come in a little bit more close to where they're supposed to kind of come in from. So let's just kind of one more time look through each keyframe here. So these guys come in right about the same time. The ace and the bird are drifting in right at the same time, so is everything else. Everything else is going to come together right about the same time. All right. Okay, so that's about it. Pretty simple stuff. Just make sure that whenever you're doing these things that you're deliberate about where you're placing your keyframes and where things are kind of coming in from, and you always want to make sure that like the distance, if you're wanting to coordinate something, the distance should be about the same. Even if the timing is the same, if the distance is different, then you'll find that you've got you'll have some problems here. So let's go ahead and add our name. Just click anywhere on your text tool here. Just kind of add your name. I'll add my name down here. And make sure you change the font to something other than Minion Pro. I'll change mine to not this. And once you've done that, you can export it, and you're good. Cool. All right. Very good. Let's just fit this in here, and we'll just kind of take a look at how this looks. I tell you what. Instead of doing this, what we'll do is we'll have our name pop in a little, like after everything's done. So about 2 seconds in, let's go to our opacity here, and we'll click our little keyframe right about there, and we'll give it like a half a second, and then we'll have it fade in. So on this keyframe, let's have the opacity be 0. So now we go back, we can see that it comes in, and then it just sort of fades in. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, now it fades out for some reason. Very cool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just file export this as an MP4 and submit to 2L. Very good.